Hi everybody, Greg Yamiko here. Hello to all the AO members. Hi, I'm starting over here. I don't know if that was live or not. I think we're live now. Anyway, hi everybody. Hi AO, and back for another mentoring session. This is Greg Yamiko. I have a software company called Efficience, and we do custom software, mobile app, e-commerce, and SaaS development, software as a service. I have a history of multiple businesses, consummate entrepreneur, and lived and died by entrepreneurialism over the years, with beginning in the investment, insurance, financial planning, and investment world, and rode the wave up of mutual fund. I started in the 90s and rode it back down in the 2000s and got into software. Went to India in 2004 and set up my own office over there, and with that, been doing software and currently doing a lot of, I would say, like SaaS development, making my own products and creating the opportunity to scale software applications myself, along with a lot of the custom applications I've built for other companies. So that gives you a little bit better feel of who I am and where my experiences will come from. I'm a part of EO, the Entrepreneurs Organization, and that's how I've met Sean. And we've been informed together previously. And love EO, love what the network's all about, and what you guys are doing here with AO is very appropriate relative to my EO world. So being in EO for 20 years, I've been all over the world with them and have been exposed to the great business people, speakers, and have met so many other entrepreneurs from all cultures, all walks of life, that the learning has been phenomenal. The experiences have been phenomenal, and I'll do what I can to best share with you guys from coming from all those angles. Okay, so let's start here. We have Daphne Eastmund, excuse me. She says, "Hi Sean, currently working on my hair care brand, and I'm at a stage where I have to brand the actual business. Having a limited budget, which we all do, I was wondering if it was a good idea to invest in the branding through agencies or bootstrap the business and adapt as I go. I know that my only choice to stand out, differentiate myself, is through a strong brand marketing strategy, but I also want to be strategic in my spending." So this is a question that all businesses ask themselves and have to try to figure out and utilize and experience. And thankfully you're reaching out. Hopefully we can give you a little bit of help here. So one thing I'll say to start is that with the group now, you have Paul Schoonover. He has a company called Ascend, and he is a new mentor, and this is rarely a question that's more appropriate for him. So I'll give you a little bit of my experience, and then maybe this question can be asked to him at his next mentoring session. So that would be good to go to Paul and get some feedback from him, but I think that my experience is going to be somewhat limited. So here we go. I have done a lot of grassroots of getting things going. In my investment firm, what I did, being young, and you think in the investment world we had a lot of money, but we were doing a grassroots start with creating a mutual fund. So what I did at that time is I called the University of Tennessee's. I called their graphic design department, I guess you would call it, and with that, I asked them, "Hey, we want to create a logo for our company. Do you have anybody over there that would do this? And is this something that we could pay you guys for?" And they said, "Sure." And one thing led to another. After $150, I got our logo that ended up being the logo for our fund that ended up being $1 billion investment firm. So an interesting way to go about it. Another thing that you can do is something that I've used and I really liked was doing 99designs.com. That is a web service out there that you can go and you can fill out your criteria, what you're looking for, and they put this out to a network of designers and marketers around the world that will submit their thoughts and styles and designs that you can pick from. So it gives you a whole choice of different options across the spectrum. That is really, really cool experience. There's also something out there that I've looked into called freelogodesign.org. And check that out. You ask some different questions, you get back. It's really basic, really simple, and they're very to get. You can get the one for the web is free, but the other versions that you want to use for print and so forth, you pay a nominal fee for that. So one thing that I would consider, I guess, is I would pay for the strategy for figuring out where you want to go, because that's the key. But putting it all together, okay? What's your marketing strategy? What are you going to do to utilize the brand? What's the brand going to say, and so forth, and how you put that together so that you can come back with an approach to market. Who are you targeting? What's your core customer, and so on and so forth. There's some aspects of that if you know them, you have an idea. But this is tough. And once you put something out there, you got to iterate around it and continue to figure out where you're going. So I would say that looking at different options, looking at the ones I talked about, exploring that, looking at your budget, not knowing what your budget is, and determining an agency. Agencies, in this realm can be anywhere from $10,000 to $25,000, but it is it's a big investment, but it can be very much worth the time that the time and money that you would have to put into it. And as I said, explore those other options. Okay, so next question is Denzel Pryor, and Denzel asks, so I have a personal goal to get my business to gross 20K by Wednesday, August 12th at the latest. In these challenging times of COVID-19 protests and riots, how would you go about connecting with mortgage loan officers, lenders, escrow agents, and title companies who are still doing real estate closings in volume during these troubling times? Okay, so first off, Denzel, the best to help you, I need a few more details of what you're talking about. So I'm looking at this coming at it from a little bit out of context. Like, what is your revenue? And what is your business? What business are you in that you're trying to get to these type of people? Maybe assuming you're a real estate agent, or you have a real estate type of firm. So that would help give some context as to what you need to connect to the lending industry. So given that, and given where I'm coming from, I'll give you some thoughts of what I would do to try to connect to those areas. One thing you can do is you can reach out to anybody that you know in the lending space, okay, if you do know somebody, and offer them $25, say a $25 Starbucks gift card, to give them the names of people in the other relative areas, okay? That referral source, asking people for it, and when you offer the gift card, it creates a incentive that when you help somebody or give somebody something, they want to give you something back. So just that reciprocal nature of how we work in the world. So I'd also ask, who do you bank with? Okay, I'd go to your existing banker and talk to them and see who they know, what relationships they have. Usually, bankers will be working in a lot of those different areas that you talked about, and go to them and ask them who they know in those areas, and do the same thing. If you have other real estate agent friends, so I'm not sure if you're a real estate agent, but if you do have, if you're not, and you have real estate agent friends, then reaching out to them, because of what they do and across the board, they have to get financing, they have to go to title companies, they have to either work with banks or the mortgage type of financing companies, and they have to get the title work done. So with all that, you have the ability with them to give you more context in that space and allow for them to share that. And if you can get a whole network of people, then potentially I would offer them $50. I'd offer them a $50 gift card or something more significant to reach out and connect to those people. So using your network, reaching out, just picking up the phone and calling some of the people, and getting on Google and Google some of these businesses and calling them up and say, what angle and what avenue are you coming from to reach out to them. So just some basic stuff that I would explore. Next question is David. And David, I think it's Fitz Murice, I guess. No, I'm messing that up. Sorry about that, David. Okay, so David's question is, I'm looking for advice in finding a good supplier on Alibaba or how to deal with suppliers better. I have found a supplier, and the quality of his products are excellent, but he is very slow with delivery and keeps lying to me about the delivery time. So this can be a tough one because finding people, Alibaba is the Chinese company that does a lot of B2B, B2C type of interactions, if you're not familiar with them. And I would reach out, if this was me, I would reach out to my network, because I said it in the intro that I'm part of EO, which is the Entrepreneurs Organization, worldwide organization. You have to have $1 million or more revenue, and you have to either founded a business or own 50% of the business. So I would reach out to my network in EO, and we have a database that we can plug into, and we can find people. But I've met a lot of people around the world. I know people in China and India and Singapore and Japan. So I could reach out to respective people that I know and ask them for the contact of if they know somebody in the respective industry that you're talking about that you would need help in. That would be one way that I start. So given what I'm saying with that, what you have in a network here with AO is I would maybe post that up in the Facebook group and say, hey, I'm looking for any contacts of your respective type of vendor and the industry they're in, or somebody that just has a vendor in China and could potentially source you somebody that would connect to one person to the next. Okay, that could be a potential option. I would also go to contact your current company that you're working with, and maybe have something like have this friendly conversation with them, and the friendly conversation leads to maybe a discussion around tough times we're in. This COVID thing has really put a tough thing on my business. My competitors are creeping up on my toes. How you guys doing with your competitors? Who is your toughest competitor you guys have to deal with? And with that, you're going to get a name, and that name you can have somebody to reach out to and figure out who they're dealing with. If they if they don't give you the name, then maybe do some Google searching. Search Google and see if you can find other industries, and then ask that person about them. Hey, I got a call from this company, XYZ, that says they want to do business with me, and I just thought it was interesting, and they'll probably come up with some feedback to you about what they're not good at, what their sore spots are. And with that, you can go back and use that to discuss the sore spots with a potential vendor that you're talking to, and also maybe use that for negotiation purposes. If this is a weak spot, you heard it was a weak spot, it's a weak spot, then I would get into being able to maybe track down that information through other sources, or talk to them about it and say, given that this situation is what you guys are dealing with, I want to make sure that it's covered in the contract in some way, or that I get a discount in some way. So those are some of the angles that I would explore. Let's say the next person is Vinko. Vinko and Milovicek is, I think, how you say his name. Okay, so Vinko, let's see. Your question is, my goal is to build an online community and be the middleman, platform between trainers and students, clients, clients, and then have aspirations is to sell the service to wealthy markets like USA. But I'm from Europe, Croatia. Do you think it's better to start the business in the Croatian market that I know, the language and culture, or go straight forward to the US market? I have much more connections here also. The balanced decisions would be to target the domestic market, but to use English language. I'm interested in your thoughts. Thank you. Okay, so Vinko, it's always great to start a business, or when you do start a business, it's always great to go after what you know best, who you know best, and where you know best. So with that said, I would definitely start in Croatia. Okay, when I was starting out in I got the internship to start with an insurance company. I was in the middle of my third and fourth year in college, and I got the internship, and I went to learn about insurance. And with that, I found out when the people bring you into the insurance world, the first thing they want you to do is go and talk to your family, your friends, your neighbors, anybody that you have in your sphere of awareness and influence that you could go out and sell this particular product or service to. So, given what they know well, since the insurance industry is some of the king people of selling, I would definitely suggest that you go to your local marketplace and then start selling. And your first sales are the first sale is the toughest, and then from there, the first couple other ones are the next toughest, and then on down the line, it gets easier and easier as you go. So when you figure out your marketplace in Croatia, you figure out how to sell to them. You get the feedback of once you do a few sales and get the feedback from there to do a few more sales. You get to know what your likes of your customers are, what they don't like, and what is maybe a sweet spot for you within your target market, what you're trying to accomplish with figuring out who that is. If you know who that person is, a lot of times people start selling things to a marketplace because they have a passion about something. They like a particular product. They sell flowers. They sell vases. They sell lights. They sell chairs. Whatever it may be. They sell software. They sell real estate. They start out doing it because they like it, but they just want to sell it to everybody. And the old adage, and a very, very important adage, a lot of people don't get this, is that when you sell to everybody, you sell to nobody. Okay? So the awareness there is to be very cognizant of who you are going after, and that this group of people have the ability to buy your product, and that it's niched down. So you were worried about this whole broad expansion of, yeah, let's go to US, big money, big opportunities there, but that niche of what you want to start in Croatia is going to be very beneficial for you to learn and grow relative to your marketplace, relative to the target market. So start there. And then once you expand, and I would actually do it in your current, you can do two, I would do it in your current language. And then I'd also do it in maybe a switch in the site that you can switch over to English. So for people that would find your site from around the world, but or just start with your local language and then go to when you build out for America, it's easy to have the Google Translator or some type of translator switch your site over. It's not that expensive and it's easy to do. So don't worry about that from the beginning. Get your site up, get it going relative to the people that are going to be reading it, knowing it in your current language, and then go from there. So that's my thoughts on that question. Okay, so Edward Morgan. Thanks, Edward, for having a basic name. Okay, so a question from Edward is, I only have a basic understanding of blockchain, so I would like to know how it would be best implemented to improve the operations of a Shopify-based e-commerce business, like the two that I run currently. My business is New Zealand-based with a largely domestic consumer base, and my suppliers come from China and Belgium. I run B2B and B2C business models, and I'm essentially a middleman. Thanks. So, broadly speaking here, let's just touch a little bit on blockchain because most people don't know what it is, and it's very complex. And so you don't need to know the complexities, but to have a better understanding of what it really is the fact that blockchain is a multiple blocks of data. Okay, you have a block of data, you have another block of data, you have another block of data. Within that block of data, that block of data is connected in a chain of servers. Okay, that's the term blockchain. So once you have a set of data, it resides in the server here, it resides in a server over there, server in another part of the country. There's all these different servers that host and come together to build out a ledger. And it's like an accounting statement, but instead of one person holding that accounting statement, you have a whole group of people that have this on their servers to create authenticity and to create the ability for trust, because it can't be changed If it's changed in one, it gets changed in all the others, but they have to verify it. So the application of blockchain is going to change the world in a lot of ways. But the main thing about it's going to change is going to allow people to do business that have never talked to each other, never seen each other, and don't know anything about each other than this person can provide something to you. Because they're doing it in the blockchain, you know that there's going to be legitimacy in the transaction taking place. That if you put your part into the blockchain, they put their part in the blockchain, the transaction is going to happen, and you're not going to get taken or screwed or somebody going to run off with your money or your product or whatever it may be. So blockchain has a future that is going to be dynamic. A lot of the investment banks and so forth are working through blockchain right now, but it's not being fully implemented. This is where Bitcoin came from. Bitcoin is built off of a blockchain back-end system that allows for the security of knowing how many blocks or how many coins are in it because of the blockchain technology. So after saying all that, you're asking about your business relative to Shopify and to what you're doing to do transactions. Now, it's something that can help you, but right now, going out and building your own blockchain software is going to be outrageous. You're looking at hundreds of thousands of dollars, potentially, depending on what little niche you may want to be looking at within your business. So I would be looking for businesses or software companies that are selling a particular type of blockchain technology that's going to fill a pain that you need. Okay, what is it that is your pain right now that you're trying to solve? You didn't talk about that. You just said in general, how can I better maybe run my business if I'm using blockchain? Better running it allows for these transactions to happen globally without you having to figure out if this person on the other end of the transaction is secure. So that's the key advantage to it, but it has other advantages. And so within your business, do you have pains that is causing for that? And then I would start searching for. And I don't know if there's software that fits that space right now. I've done some exploring around blockchain. I see my software company doing more blockchain development in the future. We've done some test environments around building out some blockchain applications, and we can do it, but we haven't had customers coming to us asking us to build it for them yet. And I know they're out there, and we just haven't connected. So it's a matter of finding somebody who says, hey, I need a blockchain application before I build one. And with you, it's like, is there software out there that's going to help solve this problem or not? And I would be paying like a software as a service, a SaaS application that would provide a particular tool for you to transact from maybe one place to the next using the blockchain within their system, and you pay a rental fee of $100 a month to be able to use this software instead of spending tens of thousands of dollars of trying to build your own software application. Unless the pain is so big that the amount of money saved by having that in place is going to be worth you going out and doing a custom application. So I don't know the size and scope of your business. That's all relative to be thinking about, really, to get the final answer to what you're trying to accomplish here. And next question is Deanna Markel. And Deanna asks, I'm a licensed anesthetician and laser specialist, and I have 5 others working for me in my clinic, including a clinic manager. I want to stop working so much on patients and start working on things that will grow the business, and I need to delegate as much as I can to my clinic manager. I'm looking for ideas of how I could put together a list of all the things I want her to do and how to make sure she can report back to me on a daily or weekly basis. How did you put together a list of things you wanted someone like that to handle for you, and how do you keep up to date? Do you use software, meetings, emails? I'm open to all ideas. Thanks. So, Deanna, first of all, glad you're seeing your business in the form of either working on your business or working in your business. So let's explain that first before we move forward. I talked about this in some of my previous coaching sessions because it's a great distinction. And until you have and understand that distinction, you will not be able to scale your business if you continue to work in your business or work as opposed to working on. So what does working on your business mean? That means you go up to the roof of the business and you sit up there with your desk and you work on top of the business? No, that's not what it means. It means that in the sense of somebody who has a profession like you and what you do. You work to help take care of your clients by doing, tools and things that are making them prettier, or doing cosmetic work on them, or lasering them, or if you're like a hairstylist, you're cutting their hair. If you are doing the one cutting the hair, you're working in your business. Okay, to actually get growth and scalability, you have to make the adjustment to working on the business, which means that you're overseeing up above the umbrella of what's going on within the business. You're overseeing those activities and working to manage those activities so that you get more of them, you get them done correctly, you have processes in place, you have an approaches to how you engage your customers and so on, that allows for activity to happen, that you grow and create more opportunities for yourself. So big distinction. Glad you're thinking about it. And so from you to have scalability, it's you have to start driving it and working on the business, which you say you want to do. So how do you do that? How do you pass on to the manager? Well, first of all, I would create a job description, okay, for this manager that you have. What are the actual duties that that person is supposed to do? And what are those duties in the form of metrics? How do you, what activities are they going to do, and what metrics are going to know whether they're getting done or not? It's very key within the space of trying to figure out somebody's scope of work and if they're getting that scope of work done or not. So I would Google job descriptions, and there's going to be, I know I've done it in the past, and there's going to be a host of things that describing jobs, give you templates about job descriptions, and it'll have a whole gamut of options for you. Pick one, a template that kind of, if you feel is appropriate to you, but make sure that template has metrics in it. Or if it doesn't, you find a job description you like, put metrics in it. So it's something like, okay, so manager, you have to make sure that we have 100 appointments a week. Or manager, you have to make sure that the different you are talking to, or interviewing one person a week for new positions, because there's probably high turnover in your space, from what I've seen before. And so maybe there's always a process where you're interviewing people to fill the bench to bring in somebody else when somebody leaves. So there's different areas that you're trying to measure that you know that within your business is going to help make your business run smoother. If those activities are taking place, you're going to be more successful. You're going to do more business. So using that job description, I would make sure that you add those metrics and fill up the role of that manager, so that they are working on things that actually are going to be beneficial, instead of looking like they're doing busy work, looking at their computer or looking at their phone, and they look like they're busy, but they're not accomplishing a lot of things for you. I've had it happen to me over and over in the past. I've went through lots of employees. I had 60 at one time with a software company. I had 10 with my investment firm. I had a franchise that had all kinds of young guys working on it. It was a junk, 1-800 got junk removal business. And so I've seen people come and go, and I've seen people act busy and get nothing done. I've seen people that don't look like they're doing much and getting a lot done, but they're getting things done because they're working on the right metrics. Okay, let's make sure that's taking place. And then, as far as getting alignment with that person, I've ran my businesses in the past using the Rockefeller habits. It's approach that talks about how you structure your business to have a one-page strategic plan that starts at the BHAG. What is your big, audacious, hairy goal? And then from there you work back. Okay, this goal 15 to 20 years down the road is what I'm working towards. And then from there you back it up to like a 3 to 5 year, and you back it up to a year, and then you back it up to a quarter, and then you back it up to weekly, and determining what's going on, until you even back it up to having a daily huddle. Okay? Now, when I talked about those metrics and the job description, you can have a daily huddle with your whole team, and you can put metrics for the whole team up, and it's good to have all the people in the team come together and say, hey, we had 10 appointments yesterday, and our metric is 8. So yeah, okay, we're above the metric. We're doing good. Okay, so the next day, okay, we only had 5 appointments today, and our metrics 8, what was the problem? Where was it stuck? And the group together can like throw out some ideas around the stuck, or two people in the team in the huddle can get aligned, and then they can take that offline. So the huddle should stay short. It should be a stand-up meeting, and it should start at an odd time, like 11:11 or 8:38 or 9:09. Something that's odd. It's a few minutes long, no longer than 15, but even that's stretching it. I keep it shorter than that. It should be just a few minutes of what is the big movement forward, progress, and then let's look at how we compare with our metrics, and then let's discuss if there's any stucks and who can help with those stucks. Those are the main things that you want to have in a huddle, and from there you work that towards your weekly meeting, which your weekly meeting is looking at the metrics that are helping you achieve those bigger quarterly goals, yearly goals, and down the line to get to the big picture. So and normally when you do the Rockefeller habits, you have an all-day planning meeting for the quarter, and in that quarter you're going to break down activities that are going on, so that quarterly meeting is getting you to a year's goals. And so what do you got to do that quarter to continue to the yearly process? And then from there, during the quarter, what are you going to be doing each week to get to the quarterly goals? So Vern Harnish was the author of the book Rockefeller Habits, and it's a great book to read to understand how to do meetings and how to organize your world. And I would highly emphasize reading that book. His latest book, Scaling Up, is more in depth. If you're younger, smaller, starting out, I would read Rockefeller Habits first and get the basics of understanding your meetings, and then evolve into the scaling up later on when your business is rocking and you're up to multi-million-dollar levels, and you can work at taking it to the next level. So let's see. That's it for that question. Last question is Denzel Pryor. And Denzel asked, let's see here. I have a personal goal. Wait a minute. No, we talked about Denzel already. So that was the last question. I thought I looked familiar. So that's the questions for the day. And again, AO is powerful. EO is powerful. Utilizing these networks is very powerful for all of us to have exposure to people with knowledge and specific access to data and specialization that are going to be very important to help us get through a lot of problems that money or time can usually solve. But you can speed up the process and reduce down the cost by having and working with your network. So working with Sean like you guys do, and working with the other mentors to help evolve your experiences and your learnings in business is hugely valuable. I wish I had this when I was in the 80s starting out in my business, and in the early 90s, and it wasn't until 99 that I discovered EO, and it was a game changer for me. It was huge. It helped a lot of the activities and things that I had to go through at that time. It helped to create a world of other business owners that I could share their experiences with and help me with mine, and me helping them with theirs. That made life so much better. So take care, everybody. Good to see you. Till next time. Keep pushing. Bye now.